I think we are live. Good evening, beautiful peoples. I'm just sort of double checking if this is actually working. Please welcome to the Uncensored Diary of a Divine Feminine. This is the September 20th, 2022 check-in. So I hope you're doing great. Just a little check-in on my part. It's about 3,000 degrees in my house right now. I hope I don't look sweaty. I think there's sweat rolling down my back right now. It's so hot in Nashville. I think it's about 100 degrees outside and it's almost 9 o'clock. The South is hot. It's no joke. Tennessee William wrote about it in all of his beautiful plays. The South is really hot. So, but we are rolling with it. And I know it's either today or tomorrow is the first day of autumn. Praise the Lord. So please let me know how you are doing tonight. I love hearing from you. If you do type anything into the chat, if you don't mind putting your name, because on the chat that I have, it's gathering the chats from a lot of different platforms, and it doesn't always say the name. So if you are tuning in, I would love to know your name and where you're from and anything that you would like to share. So there's a few things I was wanting to share tonight, and one of them is this state of having a burning desire in your being to do something, to be something, to have something, and I would love to hear your experience with this. I have a couple of really burning desires in my heart. And my thinking mind doesn't even completely understand what is going on exactly with these burning desires. So one of my burning desires is actually this show that I'm doing right now, this Uncensored Diary of a Divine Feminine Rising. And I don't really understand exactly where this burning desire comes from. And but my heart, the nudges inside of me, spirit flowing through me, is just telling me, Tassel, please go on and do an episode of the Uncensored Diary of a Divine Feminine Rising. It's like an itch inside of me. Like it's just coming. It's like I'm being embodied and led to my computer and sat down and okay, here we go. It's really interesting. And I'm just curious what your burning desires are in your heart. And are you following them? Are you relaxing your thinking mind, which might not exactly totally understand this burning desire, but your heart just feels it so strongly. So I'd love to hear about your experience with that. And this is the path of the heart, right? This is really living from our heart, is listening to the longings, the desires, the deepest yearnings of the heart, and relaxing the thinking mind and allowing those deepest heart's desires to flow through us into our our actual living reality, even when they might not seem practical or we don't quite see where they're headed. So this was not my path at all for most of my life. Most of my life, I was very much ensconced in my thinking mind and in doing things that seemed practical or what the mainstream way of living would entail. And I was not following my heart. I was, excuse me, very, very disconnected from my heart. And I'm going to just say hello. Hello. Someone is saying hello, love. And I'm so sorry. It doesn't always show the name on my chat. If you don't mind putting in your name, I'd love to know who's saying hello, love. And I'd love to say hello, love back. Thank you for the love. I'm so glad you're here. So this way of living from the heart is new to me. And it's living from the heart, and it's really living in faith. And faith is my middle name. Oh, Courtney, I'm so glad you're here, sister. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we're just talking about living from the heart. And if you have anything to share around that, I'd love to hear from you, sister. So it can feel, when we are living from the heart, that we are just really living on a moment-to-moment basis. We don't know the full plan. We don't know how everything is unfolding. We just have this knowingness in our heart that this is the path. And I do believe this is something the divine feminine can really excel at. I think the divine masculine can as well. And it's a very exciting way to live. It feels like an adventure. We don't know exactly the end game of everything, but we are living in our faith. We are living in our heart's knowingness. We are relaxing the thinking mind, and we are doing it. And one of my favorite, I have so many favorite phrases, but I use affirmations all day long when my thinking mind starts to get a little like, is everything going to work out? I love the affirmation, I trust life. I love the affirmation, give it to God. I love the affirmation, what is mine will find me. And all of this, of course, is part of the divine feminine energy as well, that we are really being invited to hold this orientation of receiving and flowing with life, and not forcing things and not grinding it out, and just really being in the flow, following our heart, taking inspired action as it flows through us, and trusting, holding the vision of what we want for our life and for the planet, and just resting really in the hands of God. That seems to be the invitation. Hello, we have a really interesting comment here. Thank you so much. David says, straight from the heart, Allman Brothers song. Check it out. Oh, thank you. I will. Maybe that will be one of my new anthems. I love that. Thank you so much. David, what does that song mean to you? Do you have like a favorite lyric from it? I would love to hear. So yeah, I love this phrase, burning desire. I love the phrase, screaming yes. And as I said in the beginning, I did not live my life from those energies at all for most of my life. I lived my life from a very deadened, practical, rational thinking mind perspective. And it really led to an absolute catastrophic life that I miscreated for myself, including I had a breast cancer diagnosis, as well as a very unhappy marriage and all sorts of other aspects of my life that were really not in alignment, and I was not living from my heart. I was not following my burning desires. So I just love the orientation of living from the heart, of following the screaming yes, even when the thinking mind just doesn't quite know what's happening or understand the plan at all. There is no plan. Isn't that funny? I mean, I'm a single mom. I have kids to support. but I don't necessarily have a plan. I am following Spirit's guidance through me every day. That is what I'm doing. I am following Spirit's guidance through me. I am trusting in Spirit's plan. I'm trusting in my higher self's plan. So I guess I shouldn't say, yeah, the human doesn't really have a plan. I'm trusting, I'm leaning into God's plan for me, my higher self's plan for me. So it is an adventurous orientation, and I'm still finding my way through it. And let me know how you are doing. Are you following your heart? Are you following your screaming yeses? Are you letting go of the thinking mind's desire to know exactly what is happening? So living from the heart, a really beautiful place to live. The next thing I wanted to share is also, it has the word heart in it. And this is sort of an interesting thing to share is, and I'm really curious if you're having anything like this experience. I have been having arise within me some of the very deepest, most painful energies and feelings that I have had arise in my entire lifetime. And I'm giggling about it. It's sort of gallows humor because, there's only so much crying you can do. But, it is nice to have a bit of a sense of humor about it. But truly, probably like many people, beautiful people who are listening, I have been through many dark nights of the soul, especially over the past 10 years. I've had many tower moments, the tower card in the tarot, where everything is just falling apart and falling away, and you can feel like you are just in the void as we are ascending. And so there have been some really painful situations I've been in, some really painful energies that have come up. I went through a very, very barbaric custody situation 5-6 years ago. The pain around that was really intense. But yet, some of these energies that are arising in me now, I would say seem even deeper and more painful and more eviscerating. And a lot of the energies that are coming up for me right now are heartbreak. And it's so interesting. Oh, hey, Deborah is here. I'm so glad you're here, sister. I'll just pause because you have a really great question. Does Spirit's plan germinate inside of you? Don't you have to think about it? Okay, such a great question. Basically, how do we discern Spirit's plan, our soul's plan, from maybe our thinking mind's plan? Okay, so one way that I discern the difference is, it's really interesting, is the location of my body where the energy seems to be. So if it's my thinking mind's thoughts and plans, I feel my consciousness up here thinking about it. If it's soul's, spirit's idea or plan, I feel it down here. I feel it in my abdomen and maybe my lower chest, coming through, I suppose, my heart chakra, perhaps my solar plexus chakra. But yeah, I feel spirit down in this part of my body. And another way that I make the discernment is when I am quiet, and this is usually I'm alone. I am alone quite a lot. Being alone really does help you tune into spirit. And I think that's part of the reason it feels that spirit has isolated me for most of my life, to be honest. I have spent an enormous amount of time alone. and a lot over the past 6 years or so since my divorce. So anyway, I'm saying this because what happens for me is I'll just be alone. Maybe I'm straightening up the house in the morning. That is a time a lot of ideas from spirit seem to flow through me, because I think my thinking mind is a bit engaged in doing a task. It's not really maybe actively thinking so much. I find the same thing if I go running or I do yoga as well. If my body is a bit busy, it seems to give space for spirit's intelligence to flow through me. So I'll just get downloads. They'll just be ideas that will just drop in during these times. And it's not like I was thinking about something and then I just kept thinking about it up here in my consciousness. There's just sort of a dropping in of a knowingness or an idea. So that's another way I make the discernment. And to be honest, another way I make the discernment is often spirit's ideas that come through me, they don't seem practical at all. They don't seem necessarily practical. They're usually aligned with my passion. They're aligned with what my heart really wants to do, and not necessarily with an immediate, obvious, practical aspect to it, or can we monetize this, etc. My thinking mind goes more along those lines. My soul's plan seems to just say, follow your heart. Do what really, really enlivens you, what really lights you up. So those are just a few discernments that I make. And I'd be really curious if anyone can share any of their discernments of how they can tell the difference between the thinking mind's plan, the thinking mind's thoughts, and your soul, your higher self, spirit's plan for you. Super interesting topic. It's really cool. So getting back to heartbreak. Now, this can seem like kind of a downer topic, but it's not. It's really not, actually. Because the thing is, okay, good. Sorry, Deborah has another comment. If my body is busy, spirit seems to drop in a knowingness. I love this blueprint. Thank you, Tesla. Oh, good. I hope that feels helpful. Yeah, just see what comes in when your body is busy and your thinking mind's a bit distracted. And for different people, it might, there might be different activities where that really is helpful for you. So some of this is just a science experiment, just seeing, okay, when I'm alone and I'm doing this, what comes in? And if I'm alone and I'm doing this, what comes in? So just seeing where you get your best flow of universal intelligence running through you. Thank you so much for that really cute emoji. I can't tell your name. It doesn't always show me the name, but the emoji is really sweet. Thank you. And I'm giving you a beautiful hug back. It's really nice to have folks on here. It's really fun. I love it. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being here. Okay, so why am I bringing up heartbreak? I'm bringing up heartbreak. This is an energy that I'm really in right now, because I actually believe I have been living in heartbreak my entire life. From the beginnings of my childhood, where there were, I think, a lot of things that brought heartbreak to me, and in my adult life. And I don't think I was ever courageous enough to really sit in my heartbreak. I think I would try to avoid it like the plague. I mean, of course, right? We're taught that. If something super uncomfortable comes up, I mean, in my profession, in the mental health profession, you might be prescribed an antidepressant. They might say, well, you just need to exercise more. Or there's so many ways we distract ourselves. We lean away from the emotional pain because it's really uncomfortable, and we're not necessarily taught the efficacy, the point of feeling it. We might have been taught, well, what's the point of feeling all these painful emotions? What's the point? Why go there? Just move on. So the reason we go there is because we're holding that energy inside of us. It is in us. It is in us. We are living with it every day, and we are magnetizing situations to ourselves that will match that energy. And it's not to punish us. It's actually because the situations come in order for us to have the feelings. And so hopefully we'll feel and then just move on and let those feelings move through us, transmute those feelings. So I believe I have had a lot of heartbreak energy my whole life, and I just never wanted to go there. When that type of energy would start coming up, I would do anything to avoid it. So if it was coming up in a relationship, I'd leave the relationship. If it was coming up in any other situation, I would leave the situation. So where I've landed now is I need to feel this. And I also think it's not just from this lifetime. I think it's from other lifetimes. I also think it's from my lineage, both sides, and from the collective energy. So a lot of us here, a lot of us tuning into this show, if you were drawn to this show, I believe we are light workers, and we are transmuting a lot of energy, not just for us and our past lives, but for our lineage, from our lineages, from the collective. And I just really want to honor all of us on that path, because it is a very courageous path. A lot of these energies that we may be invited to really feel and be present with right now they're really painful. They're really, really painful. But I want to offer support. I want to say that I am having some of these really intense, I'm in heartbreak right now. These really intense energies, these are moving through me, and we can do this. We can do this. So I'm here. I'm your sister. Whatever energy you are moving through, I so fully support you. And I want to say to you, you are really courageous to be with it. I say this all the time to the people I work with. I think the most courageous thing we can do as a human spirit being is feel our feelings, particularly the really painful, uncomfortable ones. To me, that is the sexiest thing. If my partner is doing that, I'm like, wow, that's hot. To me, really feeling your feelings, that is the most courageous thing to me a human spirit being can do. So huge hats off to you. A mad respect for you as you are sitting with what is arising within you, whatever it is. If it's heartbreak, if it's anxiety, if it's fear, if it's shame, some of those really, really heavy, lower vibrational feelings. It seems that the energy on the planet is really turned up to help us purge, transmute, alchemize these really, really deep layers of energies that we just may have not gotten to yet in this lifetime. And so now here we are. So that is my truth. I am living in heartbreak energy right now. I wouldn't say every second of the day. I'm not feeling it right now. I feel pretty joyful to be with you all in this episode, but throughout the day, a lot of these really intense heartbreak energies are coming up, and I'm just being with them, and I just have faith that they will move through me, that the way through is feeling them. That is the way through. So let me know how all of this resonates with you. And if you feel like sharing what you are moving through, I absolutely want to hold space for whatever you are holding and moving through. And I am here, and there's nothing you can't share. However dark you might feel it is, however heavy, we can hold this together. You are not alone. You are not alone. And many, many people, many of my clients are moving through really, really heavy, intense energies right now. So you are not alone, and you can do this. And we can be together as brothers and sisters. We can hold hands, for goodness sake. We are humans, human spirit beings together on this planet. Okay, so a couple more things I wanted to share. One is I just got back late Sunday night from a really amazing shamanic weekend retreat up in Illinois, where this really amazing shamanic community is. And it's just wonderful. If anyone wants to hear more information about this community and the trainings and retreats that they offer, I'd be so happy to share. Their shamans are just lovely people, I have to say. I mean, everyone on the planet is lovely. And shamans, to me, what I really love about people who seem to be living in a shamanic way is it's just such an honoring and a connection to Mother Earth, to the elements, to the animals, to the flora, as well as to the ancestors, to the spirits. And it just feels so organic and loving and humane and honoring. And so I really align with the shamanic way of life. And again, if you have any interest, I can share more about the community. So I wanted to share a couple of things about this weekend that I thought might be of interest to some of you. One is we did a shamanic journey, and I've been doing a lot of shamanic journeys actually through Zoom. If you are interested in a shamanic journey, I run them quite frequently. What is a shamanic journey? A shamanic journey is when we move from ordinary reality into what we might think of as non-ordinary reality. It's sort of a point of contention, which one is actually non-ordinary, this one or the other one. But we move into a different reality. And in a shamanic journey, what I normally do and how I coach people to do them is you set an intention. And then your guides on the other side will facilitate the journey that best serves the intention you have set. So we did a journey all together in this group, and the intention that I set was for me to retrieve as much as I could around my self-worth, particularly in regards to other people. I call it my relational self-worth. And this has been really interesting for me because I always thought I had a pretty well-established sense of self-worth. And a lot of it was from a lot of challenges in my childhood. So I felt, yeah, I'm capable. I know how to show up. I know how to be there for other people. I know how to get things done. You know, I felt good about myself in those ways. And of course, those are all also actions. And I don't mean at all to express that one's self-worth has to be tied up in actions. That is really the opposite of how I feel. I think all of us are just inherently so worthy and so valued and infinitely loved just because we exist. So I really want to emphasize that. Hi there. Thank you for the nice thumbs up and the heart. It looks like Ashish. Thank you. I'm so glad you're here. So, and Christina is here. So glad you're here, sister. Wonderful. Thank you all so much for tuning in. It makes it really fun. So, but what I was really tuning into, especially over the past couple of years as I've been in an intimate relationship, is I was really realizing that my relational self-worth was really low. What do I mean by that? I mean that I think it's now is changing, but previously I didn't feel a lot of self-worth vis-a-vis other people in terms of receiving. So I feel I'm really good at giving love. It's very easy for me, but not really comfortable or not really feeling worthy of receiving love or receiving help or receiving money even. So although I had a pretty good personal self-worth aspect, this other part of actually receiving in relationship felt pretty flimsy, felt that it really wasn't, there really wasn't much there. And this would make sense given what I experienced throughout my lifetime up until now. So there's no blame or criticism, but just an awareness that my relational self-worth was pretty low. So when I went into this shamanic journey over the weekend, that was my intention, that I could reclaim my relational self-worth that I think had been, injured from some of my childhood experiences. So, okay, so it was really cool what happened after that. So as I was entering the shamanic journey, Lilith and Kali both showed up. I'm still learning about Lilith. Kali is a goddess who really helps to just break things down. She is she's very fierce. She's very powerful. She's also like the tarot card. Sorry, the Tower card in the tarot. She brings things down. She is the destroyer, but she really moves things away so that something that is more in the highest and best can reform. So they showed up, excuse me. And one of the first things I saw in this journey was a porcelain doll. And I saw that I, especially as a child, was living in this porcelain doll. And I was quite deadened underneath this porcelain doll. In fact, I believe I actually killed myself off in order to just fully inhabit this porcelain doll and be very pleasing to those around me. So a lot of this journey that was facilitated by my guides on the other side was just destroying that porcelain doll and resurrecting my inner child that had been so deadened from that experience. And it was a really beautiful experience. During another part of the journey, I saw literally hundreds of my soul's lost fragments coming back to me from this reclamation that I had set an intention for. And I also saw this little coffin within me, and the coffin opened, and it was my little inner child who had been very, very deadened all of this time. And it felt like she was being resurrected, and I held her and I brought her into my heart. And it felt really powerful, this reclamation of my self-worth, particularly in relationship. So of course, I'm just sort of curious now how this actually plays out in my real life. And one way today it seemed to play out was with my partner. Something came up that I felt I had some resistance to, I felt a bit uncomfortable about, and I just spoke very, very freely and transparently about it in a more comprehensive, transparent way than I think I used to. And to me, this is a big aspect of relational self-worth. To me, a lot of relational self-worth is just being honest. It is just speaking what is arising within you. And sometimes when we speak in that way, it might not necessarily please the other person. And we need to come back to the understanding that we are not on this planet to please anyone at all. We are here to be our true, authentic self in our alignment with our higher self, with spirit. That's it. We're not here to please or not please anyone. We are here to be in alignment with ourselves and to bring through our truth. So to me, this is a really big aspect of relational self-worth, to just completely let go of any of the programming of people pleasing, of feeling maybe a need to manage people, of sometimes an overdoing of trying to harmonize. I certainly think trying to harmonize and a goal of harmony is beautiful, but not at the cost of abandoning oneself and not speaking one's truth. So this is something that I'm really moving through as well. Let me know how any of that resonates for you. And one more piece I just thought I would share tonight is I had a really wonderful experience with Serena Dyer this week. Yesterday, I taped an interview with her. It was live for my new show. It's called The Metamorphosis Show. It's on the Transformation Network. There's lots of information about it on my Facebook page. And actually, if you're on YouTube right now, the Serena Dyer interview is on my YouTube channel. I think it is a great interview. She is an amazing woman. Probably you might be familiar that she is one of the children of Wayne Dyer, who of course is an amazing spiritual teacher. He's on the other side now. So she grew up in an amazing environment. Her mother is also very spiritually conscious and evolved. So she really grew up in this amazing environment with just a lot of spiritual consciousness. But as she says in the interview, she still had to do all of her own spiritual work herself. So just because you have really spiritually evolved parents, you still have to do the work yourself. And she, in her life, has come through some really amazingly difficult challenges. And I'll just share one that she shared in the interview. In the same year, this was, I believe, maybe 5 years ago, she gave birth. Her husband was in enormous legal trouble, and it looked like he was going to be sentenced and stay in prison for quite a long time. And so she was facing that and raising 2 children at that point on her own. Her father also died during this time period, Wayne Dyer, and her stepson, her husband's son, also died. So she was carrying a lot. And she says in the interview that for about 3 or 4 years, she just basically lived in fear. A lot of fear around the fate of her husband. Would he be sent to prison for the rest of his life or a very long time? And would she be a single mom and completely responsible for her kids? And of course, with the absence of her beloved husband. And what she found is she had to go within. She had to go within and find peace within herself, period. It was such a brutal situation on the external that there was no comfort in the external. There was no guarantee of anything. All she could do was go within and find that place of peace that we all have within ourselves, within our soul. And one of the beautiful quotes that she said during the interview is, "We all have within us the ability to choose how we respond in the face of impossible circumstances." And this is something that she was really initiated into. And the really amazing part of her story is she did find that place of peace within inside her, even as she was actually driving her husband to prison, where he was going to be spending 7 years. And they stopped along the way to the prison, and they stopped to have like a last meal together. And her husband actually got a call from his attorney explaining that there had been some evidence during his trial that had not properly come to light, and the prosecution was now admitting this, and that he was no longer going to be forced to go to prison, that he was actually a free man given this new development in the case. And it's such a beautiful, happy ending. And the way I see it is that Serena, in the face of brutal, impossible seeming circumstances, was able to find peace within herself. And then in the beautiful as within, so without ways of the universe, the external eventually reflected that. It eventually reflected the peace that she was able to hold. There was peace, and really a miracle happened in her external life with her husband being able to not go to prison. So I so enjoyed talking to Serena. She is a really, really beautiful being, so humble and really full of passion to share her experiences, and how no matter what is going on in our lives, that we can find a place of peace. And then ironically, as we find that inner place of peace, we are going to magnetize in peace in our external life as well. So it was just such a great reminder to me of the truth of this. And she said several times, "I'm not living in fear anymore." She lived in fear for several years around all of that, and that really taught her, I'm not living in fear anymore. I'm handing things over to God. I'm choosing the place of peace within inside of me, and that's how I'm living. So just really, really beautiful teachings from Serena. And again, on my YouTube channel, there's links to it all over my Facebook page. The full interview is there. So I hope you check it out, and I hope you enjoy it. And I think we'll probably end around here. So this has been the Uncensored Diary of a Divine Feminine Rising. And what I really seek to do in this show is just be super transparent, super truthful, super honest, vulnerable, tell it like it is. And a large reason I want to do that is I think so many of us are moving through very similar situations, very similar energies, and I just want to talk about them so that we don't feel alone, so that we know it's what's happening right now on the planet in our ascension path, and to just hopefully hold a space that is safe and supportive and real and truthful, where you can share anything, I can share anything, and we just know we are in this together. We are all brothers and sisters walking each other home. So I am here for you. I am holding space for you. Please, if you want to comment here, or a place I can easily see it is on my YouTube channel, comment on the video and I will respond. And yeah, just we are all brothers and sisters walking each other home. So please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And then I think you'll be notified when I go live. So you can catch these episodes live and we can chat. And I have some interesting things coming up. I have a really wonderful program called the Metamorphosis Journey. It's a 12-week program where we go through 12 amazing, powerful initiations that really bring us back to ourselves, to our guidance, to our dreams, and really to manifesting, magnetizing what we really came down here to experience. And yeah, so I will be back again soon. And thank you all so much. It's been lovely to share space with you and hear from you. And I so appreciate all the comments and so much love to you. I love you. Bye.